Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys this Thursday the 14th with another fantastic, hopefully, 1 versus 1 battle fresh from the top of the Company of Heroes 2 lockdown on this Thursday the 14th of May, I think it is. So we're going to be on Angerville and spawning in the north here, playing as the Vermac pieces. It's going to be Barton PL, who is just a really good player. He's going to go ahead and pick the Jaeger Infantry Doctrine, which I've not seen for a long time, but this one always used to be one of my favourites. We'll have a look at this commander in just a second, spawning in the south. Having featured recently on the channel, playing once again as the Soviets, it's going to be Shogun Cho. So yeah, Shogun Cho, I mean, safe to say, didn't quite 100% like go off, if you like, in the recent game that we cast. Going for a double engineer, special rifle command, penal battalion build here. Kind of liking what I'm seeing, hoping it's going to go somewhere. We've got the rather powerful armored assault tactics here. So that's going to be an IS-2 potential strat coming out into the late game there, with another number of other useful abilities, but this is a really late game focused commander, so I must say it is, odd to pick it so early. I have to say, generally speaking, I'm a fan of leaving your options open when it comes to choosing your commander until you literally would want to gain value from one of the abilities, because oftentimes I'll be playing and I'll be like, in the back of my mind, I'll be like, this is the thing I'm going to be doing this game. And then suddenly I'll just be like, this game's gone in a totally different direction, or, oh my god, I suddenly need Panzer Smoke, or, something will happen, and I'll just be like, okay, well, then we actually need that now. And, I don't know, I just like having those options open. Excuse me for 1 second. So, yeah, Shogun Cho's gone ahead and picked a commander here, which really doesn't offer you anything until you have armoured vehicles out. I suppose you do get the radio intercepts, actually. I take that back, yeah, you do get the radio intercepts, so I suppose that is providing value straight away. So, yeah, I totally forgot about the radio intercepts. Okay, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. This clown car is going to come out onto the field here, so we're going to have some clown car tactics, and whilst that clown car rolls out to the front, I'm just going to overview here the Jaeger Infantry Doctrine, because it's been a second since I've seen this guy. So we get ambush training. Infantry units can sprint for a short period of time. Various squads can be upgraded with camo, concealing them in cover and deep snow. Infantry are capable of sprinting for short durations and can be upgraded with camouflage. Okay. And we get the Jaeger Light Infantry upgrade. Now, this is different to the Squad Leader upgrade. You get 2 G43 rifles, and you get the interrogation training for gaining map info by, like, you can use it on enemy casualties. But you don't get that you don't get the Veteran Squad Leader, so this is a very different upgrade. We get the Jaeger Command Squad. A veteran Jaeger unit is dispatched to provide support, 300 manpower there. You get the light artillery barrage, and you apparently get the Stuka close air support. Wow, that's actually quite a lot of munitions-intensive support options there. Very interesting. So, wow, we've got Panzer Grenadiers, double MG. Is this a techless build? Cool. Alright, so Barton PL here, already bringing the spice, trying to do something nice. Going to be bringing a techless Vermac style to the table, because of course you can build MG42s and Panzer Grenadiers without needing the infantry company. Now this is kind of risky. Actually, you know what? This is probably okay. I'm always a bit like dubious about trying to play without a vehicle snare of some sort, and that is usually Panzerfausts, which come from Grenadiers. As the scout car gets stuck in here to the flank of the MG42, that is nice. But STG equips some Panzer Grenadiers will force back and destroy the Allied scout car. So getting some great damage down from those guys really early. The Panzer Grenadiers pulling their weight. Second squad of Panzer Grens moving in. What a weird composition. Double Pioneer to sort of be the meat shield, to do the majority of the capping, to sort of provide the bodies, I guess. And then double Panzer Gren with double MG. This is quite the punchy roster. And Scout Car, Flamethrower, Triple Penal Battalion was the build, but now, of course, we've lost the Scout Car, and I kind of feel like Triple Penal, Double Engineer, I mean, you will get manhandled by 2 MG42s and 2 Panzergrens if the German player is able to get your squads under the arc of those MG42s. It will look ugly for the Allied player. So, I feel like Shogun Cho's off to a composition disadvantage here. Now, Special Rifle Commander is done. I don't know, I mean, I know it always hurts to side tech, but Special Rifle Command, I feel like it's quite cheap, and so is the Support Weapon Campanile relatively. And I just feel like trying to play this game onwards without Maxims is going to be really hard. You know your opponent has double Panzergren. This is a map that MGs do quite well on because of the number of structures and because of the open nature of certain sections of the map, mostly the east. Sorry, the west. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me disappearing here for a moment or there. That's just me clearing my throat. I don't know what it is, mate. I don't know. Mate, I've been having kind of like hay fever-ish kind of stuff, like symptoms today. I'm pretty sure I don't have the Rona, but I have just, you know, it's there's a really high pollen count at the moment in Bristol where I live, and it does seem to be affecting me today. I don't have like any of the other sort of prodromal viral symptoms that I might expect if I did have the Rona. Not that it necessarily is symptomatic in all the ways you'd expect, but anyway. Sorry, just thinking aloud there. But anyway, that's why I'm just occasionally just muting myself with my lovely cough button so that I can clear my throat and continue to cast smoothly. So G43 upgrades are actually coming down on the Panzer Grenadiers. That's where we're getting the value so far out of the Jaeger infantry doctrine. That's pretty exciting to see. Battle Phase 1 has completed, although we still have no Leichter Mechanized Company. But trying to play the game without that is usually suicide because you just cannot beat a T-70, usually. Although I suppose if we have enough munitions, we can plump for the, you know, the things. Panzer Shreks, that's the word I'm looking for, on your Panzer Grenadiers, and that's pretty cool as well, actually. So, I mean, I still don't advocate trying to play the game techless up until Support Armor Corps. That seems ambitious to say the least, but, I mean, if it can be done, I would like to see it. So, I mean, Barton here, oh my god, the damage on these squads. You know what, actually, Panzer Grenadiers with G43s, that's 2 G43s and 2 STGs. That actually makes the squad pretty brutal at almost any range. Like, G43s are good at range, but don't forget, they are really brutal at short range as well. Like, they fire quickly, they hit hard. This is quite the spicy composition. Shogun, what are we going to go for next? It is going to be the T-70. So right now that T-70 represents pretty earth-shattering power. Like the Mechanized Company is on its way now, but there's going to be some time before the Pat gun actually is in a position where it's going to be firing on the T-70. So definitely a good window of time here for the T-70 to exploit Barton for this composition. So we'll see what the T-70 can get done. If he can pick up a squad wipe or two, you know, I mean, that's obviously best case scenario, but that would be great. Jaeger Command Squad moving onto the field now, so we'll have to keep our eye on this fairly rarely seen squad to see what it does. Have they all got G43s? No. Okay, cool. Sorry, just trying to see there. So what do they get? They get smoke grenades. They get Panzerfausts. Oh, they get Panzerfausts. Wow, so you can actually get Panzerfausts into this composition with the commander alone. You don't need infantry company. Wow. Okay, Jaeger infantry just went up a notch in my estimation. I know you're limited to one of these command squads, but the fact that it gets Panzerfausts is huge. That seems really cool. So here comes that T-70. He's got the entire build time of the Pat gun, plus the time it's going to take for that Pat gun to get into position, while for this T-70 to just start kicking ass. Soviet marksman moving onto the field, so Shogun Cho continuing the spice. This is pretty cool. Okay. Wow, this is just going to be such a weird game. So here come the Jaeger Command Squad, and those you do have to respect. Look at them go, pushing the T-70 back. All right, there comes the fallback, but they bought enough time so that the T-70 cannot pursue to kill the Panzer Grenadiers, and that's really nice. Alright. This is such a weird composition here from Shogun Cho. I'm like, wow. And bear in mind, of course, the Penals can buy PTRSs, so that's like... He can pivot into additional anti-tank resources using these squads already. That's pretty cool. I mean, trying to play without Support Armor Corps, though, is so difficult. I am skeptical, but we'll see. So the Pat gun rolls out, immediately gets a penetrating hit through the front of the T-70, putting the light tank on notice. The Soviet marksman is going to reveal themselves. This is so risky. Go! Run! Oh my god. Using a Soviet marksman against an army that has this quantity of G43s seems difficult. That marksman will die in a flash. if these Panzergrens can acquire him for long enough. But I mean, this is a relatively high value army. Like sniping Panzer Grenadiers and stuff is worthy. Oh no, he loses some penals over here. Sorry, I did miss that. So, and that is how much are penals these days? It's been a while since I checked. Yeah, 300 manpower. Yeah, so that is quite an expensive squad to lose. Luckily, he had the manpower to replace it, but obviously you'd rather be spending that on other things. T-70 comes across, going to cop a Faust for its troubles here. That is if Spartan wants it. There we go. Yeah. 222 scout car is just coming out as well, and the pack gun gets a hit, so this T-70's gone. It's gone. Go. There we go. It's destroyed. Okay, so Shogun Cho getting off to kind of another rough start in this one. Scoreline advantaged. He is actually, yeah, trailing by like 50 or so tickets. So this is pretty tough right now. Oh no. And now the scout car actually finds the scout sniper on the retreat. He's even just going to trade the scout car out for it. And why would you not? This is crushing amounts of damage going down here. And the scout car will get gibbed on the way out, but hang on a second. Barton. Okay, there we go. We'll get gibbed on the way out. There we go. But yeah, Shogun Cho in a pretty bad way this game. Sorry about the sort of crunkling noise or whatever. It's quite cold here for some reason today, and I am wearing a coat, but it does make a really weird noise if I move like at all, and it does catch on the mic in a really weird way. I don't know how it is. Wow, we're replacing the scout sniper. Are you for real? This does not seem like the best spending of manpower at this point in the game. But Shogun is going to replace the scout sniper, throwing in an additional squad of engineers too. That's pretty cool. TM35 mines here in multiples are being detected by these pioneers, so at least the Axis player will know about those. One of them gets defused even. MG42 in a nice position. Getting a second star of veterancy and pinning down a lot of valuable Soviet infantry. That's like 900 manpower it was just pinning, or suppressing. And now the Panzer Grenadiers are here to convert that into damage. Oh wow, and it goes from bad to worse here for Shogun. Basically his entire army forced off the field of battle here. And that is obviously not good. I think that was some mines finding the Jaeger command squad there. So something going Shogun's way. Crumbs from the table here, but it's PTRS is coming up on some of these penals, but I mean this game does kind of look a little bit bleak here.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Oh god. And now the MG42 is up into like this very annoying building, and we have no mortar, no smoke. Oh no, the penal's trying to get a demo charge down, but there's just two. Yeah, Shogun's going to go ahead and leave the game there. That is a rough game. That was a rough game. I mean, I know Barton's a very good player, so I mean, I'm not actually very surprised, to be honest. But yeah, Shogun was shown the door rather promptly there. So we're going to head back to the live game lobby and see if we can find another one to cast here. Looks like we've got a game with a lot of spectators here on Crossroads. Go on then, let's see what all the fuss is about. So, two different factions here. Two different players. Neither of which I've heard of. I mean, it's possible I've cast this guy before. Who knows, maybe. That's a load of Chinese characters, and they are difficult for me to interpret, to say the least. Although I will say this about the Chinese writing system. It is so satisfying to write. Like, the logical stroke order, and once you understand how to write these different elements of the what I know as kanji, it's so satisfying. God, I love writing kanji. Sometimes I just sit with a nice pen and a nice paper, and I just sit and I just draw kanji all day. It's well, not all day, but for a while, it's really satisfying. Anyway, so let's see now. Spawning here in the south, playing as the Overcommand West pieces, it will be kanji. And spawning in the north, playing as the United States forces, it's going to be Greatest Lower Bound. And these the commanders that our OKW players rolling with. Overwatch, which I'm going to still say is questionable. I don't know why people are rolling with it. There must be good reasons. Maybe people just love the Left 18, but I don't know. I've not seen this commander do anything good for players who've picked it on the channel for the last, like, since I've come back to Casting Company of Heroes 2, so, like, recently. Panzer Elite Armor Doctrine, that's a really good one. And the Feuersturm Doctrine, I'm a believer. It's actually really cool. And actually, this is kind of a good map for it. You get a lot of value out of the assault package, and the Flamhetzer can be quite potent on a smaller map like this, so that's nice. Greatest Lower Bound is going to be rolling with Airborne Doctrine, with the Heavy Cavalry Doctrine, and with Geezer on the right, who I'm going to just guess. Something Mechanized Doctrine. Mechanized Company, wicked. Got it. Nailed it. Totally knew that one. 100%. My game knowledge, second to none. So, yeah, we got Riflemen, we got Volks Grenadiers, we got a pick here. It's going to be Airborne Doctrine here for Greatest Lower Bound. So we'll have the Airborne style, an example thereof, being shown off here. And, I don't know, whilst these two players sort of get their initial sort of exchanges going on, as some INR Pathfinders come out onto the field. That is what they are, right? No, just regular Pathfinders, okay. I will take a moment right here just to talk about, well, I don't really know. I wasn't really thinking far ahead. Let's see, I've been continuing to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's Warzone mode. Which I'm just going to say, if you've got a computer that can run that game, it is free to play the Warzone mode. And it is hilarious. I am having so much fun with that game. It's very entertaining. If you've got 3 or 4 mates who like a bit of FPS action, check it out. It's great. It's such fun. What else have I been playing? Smash Brothers, yeah. What have I been? I've been playing Mewtwo, Ganondorf, and Ike. They're my new, like, trilogy of power. Definitely not my best characters, but god damn, they're all hilarious to play. So that's good fun. Continuing to develop my streaming setup here. We've got a nice little bit of green fabric now, so we're going to staple that up somewhere. And I don't know, hopefully get like a more professional looking streaming setup on the go. I'm still very much an amateur. I'm still totally learning, so I'm just like watching loads of YouTube tutorials about video editing and sound editing and how to stitch all this stuff together so it actually makes sense and is a cohesive viewing experience. So that's all pretty fun. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, today as well, I've been pretty busy for being in lockdown. My job is one of those that just doesn't really stop if lockdown is on. So yeah, I've been. Oh wow. There's an exposed Feather Max Schlepper here and some USF rear Esh getting a cutoff, but this is annoying. But yeah, I've been pretty busy with work, to be honest. There's been a lot that's been needing my attention. And that's kind of nice, to be honest. Having things to do in this lockdown time is really nice. Panzer or Elite Armor Doctrine gets taken here. We're going to have a 221 scout car coming up momentarily. Both players actually being cut off, so this is a low income start to the game. Very interesting, actually, to see how this is going to... It's actually fairly rare, I feel like, that we see both players being cut off, so this is pretty cool. Captain Tech is also quite unusual. So yeah, Captain Tech. That is not the most often seen tech, for sure. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw a Captain First Opener out of USF, so can't have been too recent. This must be for Flak Half-Track, I guess, in the early game? But I mean, giving up access to the Stuart and 50 cows is tough. I mean, that is quite a rough proposition. I'm kind of amazed. Okay. Well, we are at where we are at. Rakettenwerfer gets mixed into the roster here for Kanji. The 221 is out, so Greatest Lower Bound will know what commander he faces here, or they face here. And, I mean, this 221 is actually quite well positioned to do well in this game at the moment. I mean, yeah, it's taking some mild damage from light arms fire. The BAR on the captain is chipping away into it, but this is actually good for a bit of damage. I mean, the 221 here is cutting down Americans. Storm Pioneers will repair that one rapidly also. And we'll see, I mean, I imagine we'll get the Foog radio set. The rather expensive Foog radio set coming out before too long, because it just unlocks a ton of useful abilities. It's pretty neat. Oh wow, even just in Vet 1 it can it requires Vet 5 to lay the Regals. Good luck. Wow, I didn't realise it needed Vet 5 to get Regals. I mean, Regal AT-Mines are pretty cool. You've got to be careful. You can't just be handing them out willy-nilly for balance reasons, but yeah. Alright, so if we crack the tag, we can see the American player taking 2 of the victory points and taking a nice fight in mid there, trading a lot of damage onto the 221. It is going to be a flak half-track. Nice. It's been a minute since I've seen a flak half-track opener. 221 just being as annoying as possible, shoving all these Americans around. These Storm Pioneers are actually trading out like pretty badly here. There we go. Getting some damage in now. Oh god, this guy's pinned. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen this. He's actually stuck. The 221 is just... Wow. Wow! He gets a wipe on a unit of Pathfinders. A 290 manpower squad just gone because of the amazing positioning and the interaction between the 221 and this barbed wire there. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's some crazy stuff there out of Kanji. I'm impressed with that. Wow, what a way to find value. So anyway, yep, here comes the flak half-track. That one's rolling out here. It's just immediately going to tell it to reverse move. I love that. The flak half-track, one of the, I mean, literally actually the only vehicle in the entire game that you almost always want to be engaging the enemy arse first. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I was saying earlier about giving up the 50 cal, I did forget about that. Yeah, of course, you can just call in 50 cals with this geezer. Okay, now the flak half-track is here, and this is a high impact, but sort of, it has a relatively narrow window to exist in the game. I mean, it's quite fragile. It does get countered by a lot of stuff, and when it does get hit, it gets hurt. It's not got the greatest amount of armor or health pool, and it's even not that cheap, is it? 50 fuel, 310 manpower, so less than a Stuart, but I mean, that's just as well, because it's less good than a Stuart. Here comes a squad of paratroopers. And the half-track actually catches the Kettenwerfer. So that basically means that OKW have to give up map control for some time now. Brave Volksgrenadier is going to try and tag a Faust onto this flak half-track, but I mean the attempt is rather obvious, and with basic micro, greatest lower bound is able to counter this threat. MG34 in a building is a nice thing though, but these Volksgrenadiers have to fall back. The cutoff is achieved once again here, so that's cutting off quite a lot of resources. American forces even vying for double fuel control, and that they will get, I imagine. Unless the 221 comes out here pretty pronto, but that would be brave with the flak half-track on the field. Kettenwerfer finds a nice hit on the flak half-track there. And there's a Schwerwehrmacht Schlepper that's just kind of in the wings waiting to deploy out on the map. I mean, you usually do want your Schwerpanzer HQ to be in a position where it can actually do something useful with the flat cannon on the roof, and right now there's just no opportunity to be out on the map. So where's the flak half-track? Who's repairing that? Okay. Alright, so Kanji can try and nudge out on the map and get something done here. 1919 LMGs are the upgrade here on the paratroopers, so those guys pretty good at dealing with Volksgrenadiers. And in nice cover there with riflemen to support. That's a pretty tough proposition to advance into. Flak half-track now repaired is going to police the Storm Pioneers who are trying to get something done out here in west. those Storm Pioneers are in need of a fallback order. Where are they off to? There we go. So it looks like a second squad of paratroopers on the field now. And basically providing a meat shield right here. Wow. Finding a nice grenade. The Volks Grenadier squad will sneak away intact. So do paratroopers just get grenades, or do you have to research? Okay, yeah, cool. So paratroopers just have grenades. Sweet.
We're losing a capture point.
Okay, well, there we go. I'm learning. I'm living and learning about American forces here. So the flak half track's coming out here. A nice scoreline advantage being opened up. Nearly 100 tickets now by the American player. And yeah, Kanji needs to break this lock. Having to deploy the Schwerpanzer HQ here, this is fine. It will defend your cutoff. This is acceptable. Defends your ammunition point as well. American forces getting pushy here. Rakettenwerfer looking for the flak half track. We'll try and take some attack ground shots from here. Maybe. No. But this is a lot of American infantry. And you don't want to lose your Kettenwerfer. That would be dire. Okay, we probably have to pull the Kettenwerfer back. Maybe MD-34 here to try and cover its retreat. Flak half track comes in, looking for blood, sharking around, acquires the Kettenwerfer. And yeah, this is just a lot of chaos to deal with. Kettenwerfer actually finds a nice angle, might get a shot here. Attack round is possible. Nicely, nicely. Finds a great hit there. That's nicely done. Obersoldaten going to be leading the way out of the Schwerpanzer HQ that's just finished. STGs are up on all these Volks. I mean, Kanji's doing a good job of defending, keeping their unit roster intact and, you know, making the American player work for this. But, I mean, obviously, this last phase of play has been USF dominated because all of the fighting has been on the doorstep, more or less, of the OKW base, which means that the American player has been enjoying the luxury of double fuel income and continues to pull ahead in terms of the scoreline. So it's going to be crucial here for Kanji to try and break this lock and get out there, or else you're just going to be drowned under a wave of Shermans, and that's going to be really tough. Those Volks are in danger as being wiped. Their focus fire is coming down a little bit, but okay, they're going to sneak away again. Getting a bit lucky there is Kanji, to be honest. This 221 half-track, the Fug radio set not being upgraded, just being used as a 221. That's pretty cool, to be honest. How much are these 221s again? I always have to... 15 fuel. I would actually not hate him getting a second one of these 221s. I mean, they're just being efficient, and I suppose now there's an M1AT gun on the field, so it's a slightly riskier proposition, but I don't know. I still... Perhaps before now, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Before now, instead of, like, I don't know, one of these other squads, it would have been cool to get a second 221. Perhaps that is too many eggs in the 221 basket, though. I mean, they are fragile units. Just because this one has done well doesn't necessarily mean a second one would have been the right choice. But I am impressed with how this 221 has been doing. 12 kills, going to get a 3rd star of veterancy as soon as it fires that gun again. That's pretty cool. Obersoldaten here. There are enough munitions, actually, for the LMG-34 upgrade. What was that? Thought I heard a rifle grenade or something for a second. 50 cal, again policing the Storm Pioneers, who are trying to sneak out and get some work done on the western flank. Look at Greatest Lower Bound here, microing that flak half-track just to sort of mess around with the fallback path as much as possible. Not going to get much extra value out of it, but you have to like the way you played for it. There we go, 3 stars of veterancy. On to the 221 now. Battle-hardened crew, increased mobility, survivability, and weapon accuracy. Great upgrades to have. Really nice, cool. So, I'm wondering when we're going to see Major Tech. Oh, okay, it's nearly done. There we go. Alright, so yeah, Major Tech is on the way. The American player has, like, just tons of fuel. Doesn't actually have the manpower to buy a Sherman right now, but will do with a couple of minutes of saving. And, I mean, a Sherman looks fine here. Schwerpanzer HQ is done. Schwerpanzer authorization is finished. But we're a ways away from having the fuel for a Panzer IV or anything else. Although, the Axis player has totally managed to resecure their resource network, so there is decent fuel income once again. In fact, the Axis player right now with the best fuel income. And that is nice. for Kanji, who has been locked into a small portion of the map for some time. Oh my god, Volks Grenadiers just getting cut down by 1919s. That is harsh. But they're going to escape for now. 221's going to try and cover, as will this MG34. Getting set up, now ready to fire. And that is just in the nick of time. This is a lot of angry Americans. Whoa, the 221 coming in super deep. Wow, are we sure about this? Ooh, what was this all about? Was that a misclick? I feel like that was an accident. I don't think he meant to do that. I don't think that was ever going to go well. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty terrible. I'm a bit confused about that move. Oh well, the 221, whilst it had been a fantastic unit and a credit for Kanji here, actually wasn't super essential. The Major is here though. Major Barrage going to force Storm Pioneers out of the building seconds before it collapses, so a nice save there for Kanji. But I wonder if the scales are about to tip again as Greatest Lower Bound, with access to Major Tech, Resurgent once again on the field, Axis units basically losing everywhere on the map, American units just running around bullying these Germans. I wonder if we're about to see another dominant phase here. It feels like Kanji just broken out onto the map, and now there's a Sherman on the queue, and now the American player is just looking boss again. This captain is he burning? Yeah, just probably wants to move out of the fire there. And I mean, what a rough spot for Kanji. I mean, the game is definitely not over. The scoreline differential is, I mean, it's you'd rather be ahead in the scoreline, but he's still got 340 tickets. That's absolutely fine. We can, I mean, there's a lot of games still to be played here. And whilst we have been getting battered here as the Axis forces, there's been no game-ending damage. There's even, I would argue, not even been too severe damage been dealt to this composition. No meaningful squad wipes, just the loss of the 221, which is, you know, that is more or less a disposable unit. You are happy if that's the only loss that you've had by like the 16, 17 minute mark in the game. Sorry, that's fine. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now here comes the Sherman though. We've got two Kettenwerfers, so the resources are here for Kanji to try and cobble together a defense and possibly even a kill against this unit. So although this game has looked terrible for Axis forces, I think it's actually fine. And you know, we've seen it so often, the plan, especially against USF, is for Axis forces to kind of look like they're taking a beating for, you know, 20-25 minutes and then stabilize and then get out some serious big cats or other big fuel spending units for Axis forces. You know, we have an option for possibly a Storm Tiger or whatever in this game, and then stabilize and then take the win. So, you know, this game is definitely consistent with those kinds of Axis victories so far. Greatest Lower Bound has had a good start, but actually needs to keep the pressure on. And, you know, this Axis army is actually starting to vet up, and I don't want to say that the Axis player has the advantage, because that's just not true, but this is a game that's kind of looking like one of those games where the OKW player is just able to stabilize and then just kind of destroy the allied opponent. So we'll see. We will see. So the key question in my mind right now is what do we spend our fuel on first as the OKW player? Because we're getting to the point now where we have some fuel, we have some manpower, we can start thinking about Panzer IV. Is that the right choice? Or are we going to save for Panther? Or are we going to save for Storm Tiger? Or is it going to be a KT plan? Or is it going to be a Yagdi? I mean, these are all purchasable. For once, I'm actually going to go ahead and say I don't think a Yagdi is the way right now. I know I'm Magpie. Don't worry, I am still the real Magpie, but I'm actually going to say that going for the Tank Hunter right now, not the best choice. So, I mean, if you can save for a Panther, and we're kind of close, I think a Panther would be awesome. Because your opponent already has a Sherman, there's a flak half-track out there which you can eat up, and Panthers scale really well with veterancy. And I think with a Panther, okay, it's going to be a Panzer IV. Alright, a little disappointed to see the Panzer IV. We were quite close to having Panther money. So 140 versus 175, 185. Wow, they're more expensive than I think. So we needed, and we had 22 left in the bank, so we needed, what, 23 more fuel to get to the Panther there. That's 1 minute more saving. I actually don't think you're struggling for anti-infantry damage here. I mean, Volks with STGs, Obersoldaten with LMG, machine gun here. I don't think you're struggling for anti-infantry damage. And if you are struggling for anti-infantry damage, it's because your anti-infantry damage dealers are being forced back by the Sherman and the flak half-track to a large extent. So I feel like a Panther would have been the safer long-term insurance policy here. And I mean, it's not like the Panther doesn't contribute against infantry. I mean, it has the MG42 pintle mount, and it's pretty decent. And the Panther is a commander that is a vehicle that really flourishes with this commander making pivotal use of the high explosive anti-tank shells. So, but then again, a Panzer IV is more affordable, and it does contribute against infantry more. And your opponent's primary strength right now is still their infantry. So I can definitely see the case for the Panzer IV here. Oh god, that's a lot of Zoops to be driving out in front of here with this Panzer IV. Tank Commander upgrade going to be the pick here. I mean, if we're going to be going for Tank Commander upgrade and not the MG, did we really want a Panzer IV, or would a Panther have just been better? I don't know. I'm just making the argument out here. I'm not saying I'm right, but it's just interesting to think about, I suppose. So, okay. Panzer IV it is. That one's going to get repaired here. And now there's going to be a second Sherman. I mean, we're seeing two Shermans. Zooks are out. There's an M1AT gun. I don't know. I just feel, yeah, because the Panther is just so much more durable. It's faster. It has better armor. And once you get it to 2 stars of veterancy, it's actually quite difficult to take out. It's quite difficult to sort of force it into a place where it can be killed. So I just don't know. But for whatever reason, Kanji here is going to be going for the Panzer IV. And I mean, this is fine. It's definitely not a bad unit, but it's... I feel like we just... 1 more minute's worth of fuel saving. Panther tank. Wow. Alright, I'll shut up about that now. So, let's take a look at the scoreline here. That scoreline has still been just bleeding away for the Axis player, so we're on 259 tickets remaining under 451. Greatest lower bound is keeping the pressure on, and I like what I'm seeing out of the composition here. I think because your opponent has gone for Panzer IV instead of like something else, you actually are not being punished for not going for a Jackson. Double Sherman here is absolutely adequate, combined with all the Zooks and the M1AT gun, and your infantry corps is still just absolutely tearing through these Axis forces. I would love to see a 50 cal drop. That is, I feel like the one thing which would really help Greatest Lower Bound, because if you're the American player right now, your goal is to end the game as quickly as is reasonably and safely possible using the scoreline. Like that's your primary advantage here. So you've got to leverage that scoreline to win. What's really good for controlling victory points and to be honest, limiting the effectiveness of this very scary, or becoming very scary, Axis infantry, machine gun. And especially when you have cheap access to a machine gun as well. I mean, I've realised he doesn't have the munitions or the manpower right now, but 125 manpower, 50 munitions is quite a cheap squad to buy. And of course, you just reinforce that quickly with your rear edge. So yeah, I think 50 cal would be my favourite choice for Greatest Lower Bound to take next. Wouldn't hate a mortar squad. That is acceptable. It's a nice way of punishing Obersoldaten, dealing with Kettenwerfers, countering the Kettenwerfers and the MG with smoke, and just kind of taxing your Axis opponent for trying to get onto the victory points. And that's kind of the name of the game here. Speaking of the victory points though, a triple cap established for Kanji. So definitely Kanji, I mean these two players are, oh my god, evenly matched right now. MG34 gets caught out and in a bad way is going to escape. Panzer IV here to cover the retreat. Major arty barrage comes down, I believe, or was that the Panzer IV arty barrage? Sorry, that was the Panzer IV barrage. So yeah, a close shave there for the Axis MG. That is some hardware you don't want falling into American hands. Sherman here, those HE shells ripping through some clustered up Volks. That is pretty rough. Kettenwerfer is going to be here to try and push back the Allied medium. Meanwhile, it looks like pineapples and all kinds of nasty stuff ripping through all of the German geezers here in West. The Storm Pioneers are so low, and this is a squad that you would love to wipe as the American forces. 1919's blazing away, but my goodness, Kanji sneaks away with another squad wipeable squad on a pixel. I feel like that's like the 3rd time with this game we've seen him get away with a squad, which I feel like 3 times out of 4 would probably have been wiped, taking such heavy fire on the retreat path there. But he's okay. So, okay, double Kettenwerfer here in the east. Going to be trying to deal with this Sherman, but the slippery Sherman evading most of it so far. You know what, I never actually saw what happened to the flak half track. It totally got destroyed somewhere. Sorry, just quickly hunting around for that flak half track. Alright, well the wreckage has probably been shattered or something. I'm sorry I missed that. Are we up to triple Sherman now? God damn it, casting American forces is just, like, more challenging, because their tanks and infantry just keep disappearing and appearing all over the place because they're doing stuff with them. So we've got 2 Shermans there. Is there a 3rd Sherman about? No. Okay, so we're still on 2 Shermans.
Sherman ready.
No, we're on 3 Shermans.
Crew ready.
Because there's a 3rd one just coming in.
Capture point
Right.
is under attack.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so, wow, triple Sherman? I mean, Greatest Lower Bound is pretty much at the height of his power right now. This is a stupidly powerful, very vetted up, insanely well equipped kind of American force with 3 Shermans against one Tiger, Panzer IV. This is rough. Okay, so Rakettenwerfer's firing in. The first Sherman is just going to go down. Looks like, actually, wow, Greatest Lower Bound is actually just hell-bent on coming in here. This is not how to spend your Shermans, I think. He just really wants the Panzer IV. Is this really worth it? I don't think so. He has to stop right here. Gets one of the Kettenwerfers, but I don't think that was worth a trade for one of your Shermans. I don't know, man. Just because you're at the height of your power doesn't mean you have to, like, throw it around like this. Oh, God, he keeps coming in. The Sherman here is going to try and acquire the Panzer IV. That didn't seem good at all. I feel like definitely the Axis player is happy with that exchange. Wow, what a strange move. I mean, I know we had 3 Shermans, but sometimes, right, it's okay to just, like, use your Shermans to control your opponent's units and pressure them into making a mistake, or, you know, because you're so far ahead, or at least you were so far ahead. I feel like the game was really the Axis player's problem. Now, who knows? And we've got a Sturm Tiger. One of my all-time favourite units in this game, for sure. I just have a weak spot for units that just hurl huge explosions at your opponent. It's fun. That for me is compelling gameplay to watch and to play. So cool. All right, Storm Tiger is here, and you know we've actually had a Storm Tiger game or 2 on the channel recently. So you know, for those of you who watched me or listened to those casts will be familiar with some of my thoughts about how. What are we doing with this? We're just twitching the barrel to annoy him. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, those of you who were exposed to my previous casts. Oh god, he's going to lose the paratroopers. Well, that's a mistake. Greatest Lower Bound has GG'd. Head scratching intensifies. Did he just like? I feel like Greatest Lower Bound has either had to leave the computer because real life stuff is occurring, and so just threw it all in on a desperate gambit with the Shermans, and then was like, okay, cool, it didn't work, I have to go. Or if that's not the case, then Greatest Lower Bound here is suffering from what I would call sort of poor mental or damaged mental. Like, I don't know. In Smash Brothers, sometimes I hear this phrase used, which is you know, you've got to attack the mental, and that like mental is a big component of the game. And I think when Smash players talk about that kind of thing, that you know, mental, they just mean that there is always, no matter what you're doing, as long as you're playing against another human, there is a big mental element to whatever you're doing. And if you're winning or if you're losing, doing things that attack your opponent's mental is actually really big. Mental is big. So I feel like Greatest Lower Bound here might have somehow psychologically like defeated themselves, because this game was definitely not over. In fact, I mean, they were just in a great position the entire game, got up to 3 Shermans, and then just did weird stuff with them, and then started hemorrhaging units, and then left. So I really think that Greatest Lower Bound had to go. I think something has called them away from the PC. I reckon so. I mean, there's just no other explanation here, right? Even with the weird Sherman push and losing the paratroopers and the Sherman, like this, the units in the top right, the units in the top left, you're still in a fine position as the American player, and the scoreline. Like, this is totally a playable game, absolutely playable, you know. So, or maybe they just have some peculiar allergy to Storm Tigers, and they just, you know, some people do just, there are certain things in some games, and I'm guilty of this myself in some games, there's just certain elements of the game which you just hate or don't enjoy so much that you'd rather just end the game experience rather than play through that particular thing. I'm trying to think of a good example. You know what, I can't think of any right now, like for myself. But I mean, there are definitely things, and perhaps Storm Tigers just annoy or exacerbate or irritate Greatest Lower Bound to such an extent that the mere sight of one is game-ending. I find that hard to believe, because whilst the Storm Tiger is undoubtedly powerful and intimidating, it is a unit that also has pronounced weaknesses, and you know, if your OKW opponent is going to have a big cat, out of the choices available, which is Tiger Tank, King Tiger, or Storm Tiger, like, I feel like the Storm Tiger is the one you'd rather they had, because the other two are horrendous and much harder to cobble together a kill, and they generate value much more consistently. Whereas a Storm Tiger is like, you can micro against a Storm Tiger really well. Like, if you split your infantry and just, you know, never present a great shot and respond when your opponent starts twitching their barrel in an appropriate way without overreacting, and then make it hard for the Axis player to reload the Storm Tiger unless they go all the way back to their base, which then makes the Storm Tiger less efficient. And I just feel like this is not the worst unit that you could see for the OKW player. What a puzzling end to that game. Ah well, such is life. These are the things that happen on the ladder. And that will bring today's cast to its conclusion. Wow. Well, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with me on the channel today. A pleasure as always to cast for you all. And this for now, Magpie842 signing out.